My story taught me that God has a way of turning a negative situation into favor. Hi, I'm Melissa. When I married my husband Johnson, I soon realized I had a struggle conceiving. I opted for IVF. When I heard about the success rate, I thought my biggest struggle would be IVF. I had no idea my husband's biggest struggle was telling the truth.
Johnson, what are you doing? That's not the draft we approved. It was 10 pages, not 15.
Just a few clarifications. Legal jargon. You wouldn't want us to miss anything, would you?
Then let me review it before it goes out. That's protocol.
Emily, you overthink everything. It's nothing major. Besides, the clock's ticking. Boss wants this sealed today.
If it's really nothing major, then there's no harm in me looking it over.
I said I've got it covered. Trust me.
In the beginning, it wasn't about lies. It was about disappointments. Johnson was always so selective, especially with food. One day it was too salty. The next it was too bland. I tried to keep up to please him, but it always felt like I was failing. And then came my mother-in-law. I remembered the horror I felt. She arrived for what was supposed to be a short visit, and somehow she never left. I thought that was the worst thing that could happen. I mean, mothers are always in their son's corner, right? And she was no different, at least. That's what I believed. So there I was, struggling to conceive, juggling IVF appointments, living with a husband who criticized every meal, and a mother-in-law I was sure had no interest in me. I felt like life had strapped me in for a ride I didn't sign up for. IVF is already hard enough. The tests, the injections, the waiting. What makes it harder is going through it alone. Even when you're married. Johnson was supposed to be there for me, but every time we had an appointment, there was always an excuse. A late meeting. A traffic jam. Or when he did come, he was glued to his phone, taking calls, checking emails, while I sat there holding the weight of our future in my hands. I told myself he was just stressed. At work was demanding, that he cared but didn't know how to show it. But deep down, a part of me felt abandoned. Then, the little lies started slipping out. Things that didn't add up. He'd say he was working late, but the timelines never matched. He'd swear he sent a message, but there was no proof. I didn't push too hard. I wanted to believe him. But the cracks were there. Was he having an affair? While I was struggling with IVF, no, I didn't want to believe it. Johnson can't do that to me. While I was sitting in clinics, praying for a miracle, my husband was thinking of an affair. No. At the time, I couldn't find details of an affair. I only knew that Johnson came home later and later. His eyes darting, his phone never out of reach. He stopped asking about my appointments, stopped caring if I ate, stopped noticing the tears I tried to hide.
Johnson, quick question. I noticed there was a meeting this morning. Why wasn't I notified?
Oh, that. Just a preliminary discussion. Nothing big. Didn't want to waste your time.
Waste my time. Johnson, that meeting was on a project under my division. I should have been there.
Relax, Phil. I handled it. Just some housekeeping, numbers, updates. A little paperwork. You've got enough on your plate.
Housekeeping doesn't usually require executives behind closed doors.
You worry too much, buddy. Trust me, everything's solid. You'll get the full download later. Yeah, Philip signed it. He doesn't even know what's coming. Once this contract blows back, the board will toss him aside and we'll be ready to scoop up the clients. They'll follow us. Trust me, this company's about to be ours. Yeah, let Philip take the fall while we take the business. Clean and simple. You know, between work and this whole IVF process, I'm exhausted. I just want it to be over already. The stress, the appointments, the waiting.
It wasn't just distance. It was like an obsession. I began to see it clearly. Johnson was having an affair with money. He loved money in a way that frightened me. It wasn't that he was wicked, but money was his master. Our marriage, our home, even our dream of a child, they weren't his priority. For a moment I was relieved that it wasn't about another woman. But I don't know which was worse. For me, the hardest part wasn't the hormones or the IVF needles. The hardest part was realizing the man I married worshipped money more than he cared for me. That same week, I sat in the doctor's office trembling. After months of injections, prayers, and waiting, the nurse smiled at me and said the words I'd been aching to hear. Congratulations, Melissa. You're pregnant. For a moment, my world was perfect. I was finally going to be a mother. But the joy didn't last.
Johnson, this doesn't add up. I remember you slipped extra pages into that contract before Philip signed it. What was on those pages?
You're imagining things. The contract was standard. Philip didn't read it. That's on him.
No, I saw you. You were quick to shut me down when I asked to review
Emily, watch yourself. You don't want to stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Some things are above your pay grade.
Or maybe you just don't want anyone finding out what you did.
Drop it, Emily. For your own good.
Emily, this is the third time today you asked for a private word. Now you're telling me Philip, one of our most trusted managers, was framed? By Johnson, of all people. That's not a claim you throw around, Lytle.
I know how it sounds. I know, but I was there. I saw Johnson slip extra pages into that contract before Philip signed it. I asked him to let me review it, and he flat out refused. He practically snapped at me.
So you suspect? But suspicion isn't evidence. Do you realize what you're asking me to do? If I confront Johnson without proof, I'll look like I'm playing favorites, and Philip's career will still be in ruins.
This isn't about favorites. It's about the company. We're bleeding, sir. And if we don't act, we'll lose everything. Johnson isn't careless. He's calculated. He set Philip up so he could position himself as the savior when things fall apart.
You're asking me to believe Johnson deliberately sabotaged this company to climb a ladder he didn't build.
Yes. I believe he's working with someone outside. His moves don't make sense unless he's got help.
Alright. If you're right, we need proof. Something that can't be denied. Something that will speak louder than his smile. And his excuses.
Then we check his computer. Even if he deleted the evidence, there'll be a trace. Metadata. Email. Something.
And you're certain?
I saw it with my own eyes. Philip's being destroyed for something he didn't do. And if we don't move fast, Johnson's going to bury the truth so we'll never find it.
If Johnson covered his tracks, the only place we'll find evidence is his computer. But this isn't something IT can handle quietly. If word gets out, if Johnson even suspects, we'll lose our chance.
I know someone. Off the record. He's good. Very good.
Emily, haven't heard from you in a while. This better not be about your office printer again.
It's bigger than printers. I need access to someone's computer quietly. Deleted files, emails, everything.
So you want me to ghost a corporate system? That's bold, risky, and highly illegal, in case you didn't know.
She knows. I'm authorizing this. What we're dealing with could destroy the company.
A board member, huh? Guess this isn't your average 9 to 5 drama.
Can you do it or not?
I can do it, but it will cost you.
Deal.
When can you start?
Tonight. Send me the access point. I'll meet you there. All right, let's see. What your golden boy's been hiding. Deleted doesn't mean gone. It just means buried. And I'm good with
Johnson, we've reviewed some files that came to light last night. Care to explain why your company laptop contained encrypted emails from one of our competitors?
That's ridiculous. Anyone could have.
And these, exact duplicates of the extra clauses you slipped into Philip's contract. You deleted them, but not well enough.
Johnson, you didn't just frame an innocent man. You sabotaged this company. That's fraud. Sabotage. A crime. Here are your choices. Pay the damages you've caused. Every cent, or we turn this over to the authorities and let them handle it.
I'll pay.
Good. Then you're fired. Effective immediately. Get out.
How do I even face them? Melissa's been patient through all this IVF stress. And Mom already suspects. She'll see right through me. Okay. The company's broke. Everyone's being let go. Not just me. Melissa will buy it. Mom, she's the problem. She always is.
That evening, Johnson came home pale and sweating. He sat us down, me and his mother, and spun a lie. He said the company had gone bankrupt, that staff were being let go, that none of it was his fault. I wanted to believe him, but my heart sank. His story didn't add up. His phone rang before I could press further. On the other end, a stern voice reminded him of the damages he had to pay. Or face court charges. His face drained as he promised to pay, then quickly ended the call.
Jonathan, I hope I didn't just hear you plotting again. Because if there's one thing you're consistent at, it's scheming. Listen, son. You can't be praying for the fruit of the womb on one hand, and on the other hand trying to snatch another man's bread. That's not how blessings work. You can't be that dense.
Mom, it's not like that.
That's what you always say. Just remember, schemes have a way of boomeranging. Don't go mixing business plots with baby prayers. God doesn't play those games. My boy's got brains. Pity he uses them for the wrong thing.
And that was the moment his mother laughed bitterly. She warned him earlier. She knew he was scheming. She brought the news to him that I was pregnant and told him until he found another job, he'd be a house husband. That was funny, but I just couldn't laugh. She also told him that his trust fund he's been guarding so tightly, it'll go to me and my child. And suddenly, his mother's constant presence in our house started to make sense. She didn't just come for a visit. She came because she knew her son. She knew his desperation for money would ruin him. I sat there stunned. My heart broke and healed at the same time. Johnson's lies were exposed, my fears confirmed. I thought my mother-in-law's arrival would be the hardest part of my marriage. I thought she came to criticize me, to remind me of my failures. But I was wrong. She became the one steady hand holding me up when everything else was falling apart. After Johnson was exposed, the house was filled with silence. Shame followed him everywhere. He barely spoke, barely ate. He was always angry, not just at losing his job, but at losing control. He was no longer the one in charge. His mother kept to her word and didn't hesitate. She sat us down. She handed over the trust fund account details to me. I watched his face twist in pain. To him, money was everything. To me, that account meant security, peace of mind. A way to breathe again while carrying a child. I felt safe because his mother had stepped in. The irony wasn't lost on me. The woman I once feared became my safety net. She cooked with me, prayed with me, reminded me daily that I wasn't alone. And while I leaned on her, Johnson isolated himself even more, pacing, sulking, locking himself in his room. For weeks, Johnson remained silent and angry. But then one night, he sat across from me, his eyes softer than I'd ever seen them, and said the words I never thought I'd hear. I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to change. At first, I didn't believe him. But then I watched him take his first real step. He found Christ. He repented. And slowly, I saw my husband transform. He began practicing something that surprised me. Each time he earned from freelance work, he gave away 40%. He told me it was his way of breaking free from the grip money had over him. To my shock, he stuck with it. No cutting corners, no excuses. I admired his discipline. I was reminded of the words in Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Johnson was finally learning to serve God, not money. It reminded me of Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. A year later, he walked into the living room with papers in his hand, his face glowing. "Melissa," he said, "I bought land." I froze. The old fear rushed back. Was this another scheme? But then he laid everything out, his contracts, his income. What he gave away, what he saved. Every number lined up. No tricks. No shortcuts. My husband didn't just talk, he proved himself. And in that moment, I realized something important. Johnson didn't deliberately try to harm me. His greed, his lies, His obsession with money created pain around me, but his intent wasn't directly against me, and yet God took even that, the disappointment, the heartbreak, the waiting, and turned it into something beautiful. It reminded me of 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. Now I realized, my husband was destined to be a rich man, but he had been chasing it the wrong way. Now, through honesty, faith, and hard work, he was finally on the right path. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. I thought my biggest battle was at IVF. I thought my struggle was about conceiving. But God had a bigger plan. He used that journey to peel back layers of lies, to reveal the truth, to rebuild my home. Every bad situation, every heartbreak, every disappointment, God had a way of turning it for good.